Hi, this is Darren with Darren Does That. You may be looking at your Watts lighting system sometime and wonder, what is this little segments word that you see at the bottom of the color picker? And if you click on it, you'll see something that's kind of confusing and doesn't seem very useful. But we can make it useful. This is a feature that is a little bit in the background of the app, but if you learn how to use it, you can make these lights do even more custom things. First thing we need to do is set up our segments. Now, the goal of segments is to give you control over individual portions of your install separately. So if you want the second story one color and the first story another color, or if you'd like to be able to turn on only the back lights and not the front lights, segments is how you're going to make that happen. So you need to go into that menu, go into Device Config, go into Segments Config, and here we see what we had before. We've got the same things that I saw in the little Segments tab. And we can see that we have one segment currently, and if we would like to be able to control separate sections, we need to create more segments. And so there's a big plus button there, but it won't work yet. We have to have room to add a new segment. We need at least 3 bulbs. So what's happening is I've got 89 lights on my install, and my first segment starts at light 1 and goes to light 89. So there's not room to add a new segment. So just temporarily, without worrying of exactly how much room I need, I'm just going to shrink that number down. And now I can add a new segment. And let's say I want 3 overall. So I'll choose a number smaller than the final total, and there'll be room for me to add a 3rd segment. Now I can name these so that they make sense to me. Let's say we've got a back section, a right side section, and a front section. Of course, these can be whatever makes sense to you, maybe a second story section or a middle peak section, or describe it however you like. Now, you need to actually be outside your house in order to choose exactly what numbers are going to make sense here. When you're in the Segment Edit tab, you'll actually see on your house, you'll see some pink and some green lights, and they'll actually delineate the starts and ends of sections. So instead of having to count the lights and figure out where the numbers go, you can stand outside and look for those pink and green lights that separate the sections and adjust these until they match what you want. And you can update a segment until it's in the corner, and you'll have to adjust the ones that come after it as well. So this one's going to be 43. And then there's room for this one to become 42. And away you go. Once you've got it all set up so the right parts are covered in the right spot, it's going to save this info, and we can go back and back. And then when we're on our color picking page and checking our segments, we can open up the segments. And now we have these controls for the individual segments. So on and off is going to control whether or not the entire segment is lit at all. Any segment that is off, no matter what other instructions you give, they are going to stay off. Now, among the segments that are on, you can decide which ones are selected. So let's say I wanted to do something with the back only. The right side and the front side would do something else, but I want to do something with the back. I'm going to deselect these. And whatever my next change is going to apply only to the back. So maybe I want to take the back now and go over to a preset and go into architecture, and sure, the back's going to be all cool white. So now whatever everything else was, I popped out, everything on that back is going to be all cool white. And if I go into my patterns and I open up my segments, now I want to change the right and the front to something else. I'm going to deselect these and select these. Ta-da! And go back. And now whatever my next setup is, let's make these ones all red. Now the ones at the front and side will all be red, and the ones at the back will be white. And you can very quickly customize different looks on your home. Enjoy. Tell me what you come up with. You can get some really cool effects this way by dividing up your install.